Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for 502 Sports. Hey everyone, welcome to a very special edition of 502 Sports. I'm your host, Adam Hitt, and today I'm joined by Assumption High School Athletic Director Lisa Pinkston to talk about the amazing success they've had this year as an athletic department across multiple sports, and to talk about what's driving that success at Assumption High School in the past few years. Lisa, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Thanks, Adam. I'm really happy to join you today.
Yeah, this is awesome. So glad to talk to you. I really wanted to start off by going through a list because I think this is really cool. You all have 6 team state titles that you won in the past year. Field hockey state champions, cross country back-to-back state champions, volleyball back-to-back state champions, track and field state, first ever softball state title, and then a dance team title as well. But that doesn't include the 7 individual titles that you all have as well. A couple things I wanted to mention. Kenley Jones won 2 individual swimming titles in the 50 meter and the 100 meter. And then Leah Pennick also won the state track titles in the 1600 meter and the 3200. Just incredible across the board, the success that you all have had this past year. What would you say is driving that success for all of your sports at the moment?
You know, I would say it's the culture that we have. Listen, Assumption, historically we have been, in the mix competing at a very high level for many, many years. But I would say this year we've spent, I've been AD since 2021, so I just finished my 4th year, and I would say, our coaches are incredible. And what's driving it is just it's the culture, it's the standard that we've put in place, it's the buy-in of our girls and their families.
Right.
And I think it's, we've worked really hard to create an experience for the girls. And winning is just a byproduct of that. But we've worked really hard to provide opportunities for them to travel and play the best competition in the country, to give them the equipment that they need and the technology and celebrate their success, right?
Right.
And then just trust our coaches to do what our coaches do and just, empower them to lead and motivate. And it's been awesome.
Yeah. So as a follow-up to the 6 state team titles and 7 individual titles, do you have any sense of if that's a record for Assumption? Is that something that, do you all keep track of? Is that a record year?
We have some stats. I don't think it's anything that we've never done that before.
Right.
But I would say that, winning is, once you win one, then, the next group's kind of motivated to win the next one. And
it's contagious.
It kind of carries on, and there's some confidence that comes with that. And, the girls are loving it and having a great time. So, to answer your question, we have not done that in the past. I think we've gotten close, maybe 3 state championships in a year, but this year was it was not an accident. It was well intentioned.
So you all have 15 sports, right? 15 teams, is that right?
Yes.
Is that the most recent number?
28 teams, 15 sports.
15 sports, yeah. So winning 6 team titles across 15 different sports that you all have, that is really impressive. It's unbelievable.
We won a lot. We won
Yes.
a lot this year.
So you mentioned that you came to Assumption, well, you were coaching here before, but you became the athletic director in 2021. Mm-hmm. What is it that you brought? Like, what is it that you feel like the athletic department is doing? You mentioned the coaches. Obviously it takes really good coaches to achieve that, but what do you feel like you all have instilled in the athletic department to really drive that success?
I think it's, Adam, I think it's a lot of hard work. For those who are in it, my fellow AD colleagues at other schools, like, they know. It is a tremendous amount of work. It is being all in. It is, supporting our coaches and being available to them. Many of our coaches are paraprofessionals, so they are working, jobs within the community, and the time they have is, at the end of the school day, everybody else in the building is kind of slowing down, right? But in athletics, it's like ramping up, right? So from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night, it's like go time every day.
Yeah.
And I think just having the mentality, I think this role is a role where it's like you have to be available and you have to be all in and willing to, do the things necessary to support the coaches and girls that, it's hard work.
Yeah. What would you say that your philosophy is in terms of being an athletic director? I think when you look at most programs, in your role, there's usually an overarching philosophy that you're trying to instill across all the sports that you're managing, right? And then trickling down into the student athletes to support those student athletes. Like what would you say is your philosophy as an athletic director?
I was fortunate to have a lot of mentors along the way. I was a student athlete in college, played at U of L, played softball, and then, went into the corporate world and did a couple things and wasn't feeling super fulfilled and came back to the athletic department and worked in athletics there. And so I was fortunate to be mentored by some really talented, passionate people. Julie Herman, our senior women administrator at U of L, Tom Jurich under his leadership, and was really trained. That was our prime time at U of L, where facilities were being built and state-of-the-art technology for athletes, and really I got exposed to a vision of just trying to create exceptional experiences. And so when I took over as AD, listen, we were in a good place, right? Assumption was in a really good place. Yeah. But I think what I did was I took a look at our facilities and said, okay, how can we take it up a notch? How can we invest? And so we started with, back being the softball coach, found a leader in the community who was very passionate about softball, and we built an indoor softball facility. We turfed that field. We installed a new track surface. Yeah. We installed a new Daktronics video board last year at the green on the stadium field. New video boards in the gym. Recently, we installed at the end of last year projector cameras in the gym on the gym floor to kind of create images on the gym floor and kind of create that. So just trying to create an experience for the girls that is unique, and just to let them know how much we care about them and just how much we're encouraging them and giving them a glimpse of for those that are going on to college, like what that will be like. But for those who aren't, many don't, just giving them a very professional, exciting game day experience. Right.
That's amazing. Yeah. I've been to a lot of your all's games. It's definitely really cool to kind of see what you all put together and just building that excitement, right, and for those athletic competitions. You mentioned the softball facility. So looking at, obviously softball won their first state title this past season, and you can't help but kind of look at it and say, this new facility, like how much impact do we feel like that, do you feel like that had overall in softball's kind of winning, getting to the state final? What do you think about that in terms of the impact that it had just in leading to that state title?
Well, I mean, listen, I think we're super fortunate to have that. Yeah. When it's raining outside and it's a good day for ducks, right, it's still a good day for us playing softball, right? Like we can practice all the time, 12 months out of the year. In January, as long as there's not like ice on the ground, like we can be out on that field. So, again, it's what I'm going to say about that is it's creating something that people want to be a part of. Right. Okay. And we had a family that is just super generous. The Unruh family that invested in us and invested in our vision and wanted to do something for girls. I mean, really and truly, when they made that investment, it was to give girls an opportunity that boys normally have. If you look at the boys' schools, they have great. So that family believed in the vision of Assumption High School and made an investment that is, it made a difference for us.
Yeah, it's just impacting your all's, facilities and these kids for years to come because you have that available for all the student athletes.
It's fun. It's like our, it's like our softball playhouse, it's fun and it's a gathering space, and, little ones come in there and are practicing and getting their reps. And it's not just an investment to Assumption, but really to our city, to grow the sport.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned some things there about, the boys' schools and the girls' schools. So you are in a unique situation as a athletic director for an all-girls high school. What are some of the challenges or differences that you see of being an athletic director for an all-girls high school compared to what the boys have at the all-boys schools or even co-ed schools?
It's kind of interesting. I've never really had this sort of chip on my shoulder. I grew up, I have 4 brothers. They all went to Trinity. And, I never had this mentality of, and this is just me as a person, oh, we're missing out, or I feel slighted. I've just never had that mentality because I don't think that I was treated like that in my family growing up. And so I think it's carried over to me, just in my leadership, in the sense of if there's something that we want, we're going to find a way to get it. We may have to work a little bit harder, okay?
Right.
But ultimately, we'll get what we want. I think maybe at the boys' school it comes a little easier. I'm sure the AD's phones are ringing and they just, are answering the call for money. We have to, shake a few more trees.
Yeah.
But again, I think when people understand the vision and the impact they're making, we ultimately, we ultimately reach our goals.
Yeah. In terms of the experience that these girls get to have at Assumption in your athletic departments and overall in the school, what are some of the things that you all are doing to kind of improve that experience and build, the life experiences that they're building through athletics?
I mean, I'm going to say this, Adam, they love it, they love their teammates. The girls, they're more motivated by just their friendships and the memories they're making. I mean, everybody feels proud about the state championships. Everybody feels proud about that, but that's not what necessarily makes them tick, right? What makes them tick is getting on a bus for, 6 hours and heading up to Pennsylvania to play, or, with the cross country team, flying out to Oregon, or with the volleyball team, competing against the best of the country in Vegas. It's the memories of being together and those bonds. That's the essence of what it is. But how we influence that is we hold a high standard. We hold our coaches to a high standard. We are exposing them to things like a sports psychologist, nutritionist, yoga instructors, that game day experience that I talked about, all of those things that we are, investing in and giving them the opportunity to be a part of, it all adds to the culture.
Yeah. So you've had tremendous success. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this past year was unbelievable. When you think about the future of the athletic department, overall, the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, what are the next steps? What are the things that you're looking at trying to build and instill in the future?
I'm always thinking of our coaches in mind and what do our coaches need to make their jobs easier to provide to the girls. And so we'd like to build another gym. So that's definitely a part of the vision. We have a property across the street that we purchased several years ago, and so we will eventually, build a second gym and kind of a training facility there, which will help us a great deal. At the Green, we have a back practice field. We would like to see that, become a turf field again, so that for another training space with lights. So that's definitely something that is in the near future.
Yeah.
And then, just continuing to as technology evolves, continue to invest in that.
What are your thoughts on female athletes in general, the girls that you are serving here at Assumption? What are some of the things that you have to think about specifically for female athletes that let's say the boys' schools or male athletes don't have to think about as much? What are some of the differences there?
Ooh, that's a good question. Haven't thought about that too much. The differences between, like girls have to feel good to play good. Look, I always use this term, look good, feel good, play good. So we do a lot of investing in that team culture and the, being all in together. And, we know that when we are really focused on the whole person and focused on, those relationships and what does it mean to be a good teammate, the values that we instill with them at Assumption, our core values, like we spend a lot of time on those things for our girls. And, and I don't know if that's different between the girls' schools and the boys' schools, but we know that girls are very relational. We know that girls have to feel confident to be able to go out and compete at a very high level. Okay.
Right.
I will say the boys, it may be opposite. Like they have to play well to feel good. And I think with girls, it's kind of flipped.
Yeah.
Like I could tell my son, hey, like you're awesome, like you're amazing. It doesn't mean anything. Like he's only going to feel that way if he goes out and makes a few tackles.
That's fair. Right. What about the physical aspects of it? So I know, especially high school age girls coming in, they haven't competed at this level necessarily, in grade school or previously, right? Knee injuries are a big topic among this age group, right, for high school. What are some of the things that you all focus on as an athletic department to try to help mitigate, some of those types of injuries? Just development. They haven't been weightlifting before, right? They're coming in, they're trying to get up to, top level high school performance for athletics. What sort of things are you all looking at there?
We work really closely. A lot of our teams go to Norton Sports Performance, and so we lean on them and kind of trust in that leadership. But I'm going to say this is we really allow our coaches to pick their strength coach that they trust that's kind of tailored to their specific sport.
Right.
Volleyball needs are a little different than soccer needs, that are a little different from, what cross country needs. So we allow our coaches to really kind of lean into that space as we, build that property across the street. We will look to have like a full-time strength coach on campus.
Right.
But it is something that we work to, like you said, like we've got kids that are coming in freshman year that, it's a lot for them coming from CSAA and club sports to, okay, now I'm a freshman competing against an 18-year-old woman, right? Who's developed and strong. And
yes.
So we are cognizant of that, and our coaches are very intentional about their training plans.
You mentioned club sports. I think that's interesting. What do you see the impact of club sports having on high school athletes?
I think it's necessary, right? I think club will give you a lot of exposure to recruiting in college, and you're kind of comparing two different things. They're both amazing experiences. In my opinion, high school athletics teaches you things that maybe you don't get from club. High school athletics is a lot about team and common goal for that team. You practice every day in high school, right? So you have this team mentality of trying to reach that end goal of, a state championship or national rankings or something of that nature. Club is a little bit more, how can I get my reps that I need to get recruited and be seen and exposure. So it's a little bit more, team versus me. But they're both important for the development and for our girls to reach their goals.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was thinking a little bit about just Assumption High School, Assumption Athletics in general. If somebody came in here right now and didn't know anything at all about Assumption High School, Assumption Athletics, and what you all do from an athletic standpoint, what would you tell them? What would your message be to kind of describe what you all do here?
I would say to them that, I feel like that I'm just a steward in this position to just continue to push the organization forward, but I'm going to lean on my OGs, right? My my Ron Cordises of the world, my Jody Schaefers of the world,
Yeah.
Barry Hayworths of the world, the ones that laid the foundation for us and really showed us like what it means to be committed to excellence,
Yeah.
right? So, and when you look at, I'm just using those three, Ron, Barry, Jody.
Yeah.
When you look at those three, okay, and I'm just using them for an example. We have many wonderful, amazing coaches, but when you look at those three, they really show us that like we're going to work harder than anyone, right?
Right.
We could get beat, but you're not going to beat us because we're not working harder than you. Nothing is given, everything is earned, and I think that encapsulates our how we approach what we do. Like we're just going to work and work. We're going to be smart, right? But we're going to. It's hard, It's hard work, and it's not cut out for everybody, right? So if kids are not choosing Assumption, I mean, it's not for everybody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like we work really hard and we have a lot of fun. We work hard, play hard, but that's what I would say to you is that we are committed to excellence. We're committed to giving our girls an experience they would not normally get at another school, and just holding them to a super high standard.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I really, really appreciate you coming on 502 Sports, Lisa, and just kind of sharing all this information about, the Assumption Athletic Department. You guys are just doing some really amazing,
Thank you.
amazing things. Congratulations on all the success.
No, we love it. We're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I want to leave you with is that, you talked about club sports versus high school sports and the boys' schools. The last thing I'll leave you with is like we have a tremendous amount of fun doing what we do, and I think high school sports is the sweet spot, right? It's where it's the most genuine, authentic opportunity for young people in high school sports. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, good luck to all of your all's fall sports that are getting ready to kick off, tip off other seasons. I know that's going to be really, really big for you guys as well. And thank you everyone for listening to 502 Sports here, and make sure to tune in to our next podcast and follow us on all of our socials at 502 Sports.